All right, good afternoon, my students, my high schoolers, ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th, and 12th grade. Good afternoon. This is Mr. C of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. Hope everybody is having a fabulous Friday. It's time for your music lesson. So if you take a look at the title of this video, we are going into first the hymnal. It's Christ Liveth in Me by D.W. Whittle. And the other thing that we're going to be focusing on is minor scales. Okay, so we're going to talk about minor scales as we did major scales last week. We're going to talk about minor scales. But before that, there is a couple of reminders that I'd like to remind everybody. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in to every week to Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. And thank you so much for subscribing for those of you who have subscribed. But please continue to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed and you're tuning in even for the first time, click on the bottom, subscribe, and click the notifications button so that you'll be aware and abreast of future lessons as they come. I'm going to continue with those reminders, but only after we get into the jingle. So it's Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy jingle. And by the way, because it's Friday, I know we had Thanksgiving yesterday. I hope you guys enjoyed your Thanksgiving. If you didn't hear from me, happy Thanksgiving. And also check out the Thanksgiving Day video that I did yesterday. Okay, it is on that channel, so check it out. It's for all ages, for everybody, for families. So check out that video. But let's do the jingle. If you know it, please sing along. Here we go. Time for school, time for music, time to learn together, we can do it. Learning is fun with Mr. C. And learning is fun, guys. All right, so it is time to learn. Okay, always with our high schoolers, we're going into musical theory and composition. Okay, we're learning the rules of music. Okay, when it comes to theory, those rules and what we go by, and this is all to help us learn how to write our own songs. Okay, for composition. So get these couple of materials handy. Make sure you have your manuscript paper, which is the blank sheets of 5 lines and 4 spaces of the staff. Okay, make sure you have that handy, and also a pencil with a good eraser, so that if in case you make a mistake, then you can just simply erase. All right, just to show you again what that looks like, especially if those of you who are joining us for the first time. Let me just show you my own manuscript notebook. Okay, basically you'll have pages and pages of blank music stabs. Okay, again, the music stabs are composed of 5 lines and 4 spaces within. Okay, so this is a music paper, and so this is just one way you can purchase it. Amazon and all music stores like Guitar Center and things like that. You can go to your local music store and get something like this. If you can't do that, then of course make your own. You just take a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, get a ruler and a pencil, and just draw your own staff lines, and you just do that on that blank sheet of paper. And then of course also take a pen and outline them. Okay, this is one of my first videos, actually, the first video I did talk about this. So what you want to do is, again, draw your 5 lines using a ruler, a straight edge of some sort. Okay, draw your 5 lines with 4 spaces and draw them all the way down, and leaving a space in between each staff, and draw them all the way down on that 8.5 by 11 blank sheet. Okay, when you do that, outline them, trace them with a pen. Okay, so make the lines nice and dark, and then print them out. Just use that one copy and print them out. Print as many as you want, so that this way you have sheet music staff paper all the time. All right, so that's just another way. Also you can go on Google. Go on the search engine, manuscript paper. You'll see lots of Google images of manuscript paper, and that you can easily print out. So there's that other way that you can do that too. So there are many ways that you can have manuscript paper, without having to pay a whole lot of money for it. You see what I'm saying? But usually they're not that expensive. Some of them, if you go to a store or something like that, they'll usually run anywhere between $3 to about $5, I believe. Okay, I might be lowballing a little bit. Okay, so don't go by that, but check it out. Do your best shopping. Shop around. Look for the best prices for that. And if that's easier, if it's easier to just make your own or print out your own through Google Images, then do that. Free is always better. Okay, so that is but have that handy. Okay, Have that handy so that you can take notes. All right. And this is what this is about, high schoolers. We are about taking notes so that you guys can know your best on how to, again, apply these musical concepts, writing them down, and to eventually write your own songs. All right. But also, let's have handy through Google search engine the hymnal that what I'm going to do, which is Christ Liveth in Me. It is by D.W. Whittle. Okay, if you want to find out a little bit more about D.W. Whittle, which stands for Daniel Webster Whittle, he was an American lyricist. Okay, and that's very interesting that I say that, lyricist. I mean, we are talking about composing music, writing our own songs, right? So even just as a point of view, and not that it should always be like this. Some people start off learning the rules, learning the rules of music writing, okay, through music theory. Some people start off as poets, lyricists, okay, or poets, okay. Songs are basically poems, okay, and that's kind of how I started off. Actually, I started off writing my own music by writing poetry. And basically imagining how it would go if I sang it, okay. Once I got to school and I started learning, music theory and all its appropriate usages and things like that, I started applying that to the songs that I wrote. Okay, so there's that. And D.W. Whittle, he's no stranger to that. He was an American lyricist. He died in March of 1910. Okay. But he was a lyricist with a lot of hymnals. He's done a bunch of other hymnals as well that many people might know. And this is just one of them, Christ Liveth in Me. So if you want to get those lyrics handy, you might not know this. Some of you might know this already. But if you don't know it, type it in the search engine, Christ Liveth in Me lyrics, and you'll be able to get those lyrics right away. And you can follow along and sing with us. And again, the purpose of getting into hymnals before we get into the core of a lesson is to get our minds right, remembering who gave us the ability to do so. This particular song I love. I sing it almost all the time on Sundays with my family. And this particular song allows me to understand, that we want Christ, God himself, to be in our lives. Christ liveth in me. It's the Holy Spirit dwelling inside you. And you want that. You want to be chosen because that then shows that he's working with you. He's having mercy, and that's what I pray for all the time. And we have to remain thankful, okay, that he is doing that. He really is in everything. As long as we are alive, we are definitely we definitely have God's presence in that, because he's allowing us to breathe. He's allowing us to be able to be and to do the things that we can do, even get together like this. That is such a gift, such a wonderful gift that completely undeserved. And so this song is another reminder of that very known fact, that very fact. Okay, so make sure you have those handy, and let's get into some stretching exercises. Everybody, let's sit up. Okay, sit up nice and straight. If you happen to be standing, make sure your posture is good, back straight, shoulders relaxed, and let's rotate our necks in a circle. This is again good for the vocal cords. So everybody rotate very slowly. And let's go in the other direction. Great. And now everybody look all the way up, all the way down, all the way to your right, all the way to your left. Shrug your shoulders and hold, and let them drop. Rotate those shoulders backwards. All right. And rotate them forward. Rotate them nice and forward. Okay. And everybody take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. One more deep breath in and out. Okay, great. Now, while you're still getting those lyrics handy, I do again want to continue on those reminders. Again, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Subscribe, okay, to my YouTube channel, Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy, and also hit the notifications button to be abreast of upcoming lessons. Also, you can be a member, especially you moms and dads who are looking to add music into your homeschooling curriculum. If you're homeschooling, or just a teacher, a musician who wants to teach lessons. Okay, even at the high school level, there are a lot of peers that I've known when I was in high school who learned enough of the skill to be able to teach music on the side, just as a job, a part-time job. So if you're in the high school level and you want to learn how to teach, you know your stuff, but you don't know where to begin. Okay. My video courses offer a lot of knowledge in lesson planning and building routines and expectations and rules and things like that for your students, just as a start. So in order to gain access to that, okay, go on to patreon.com/Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. That's again, patreon.com/Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy for a minimum of $1. That's all you need. You can be a member of the Academy and you will have access to those video courses. All right, so check that out. Okay, also as a member, you get to be part of, this is only exclusive to members, the virtual holiday open mic, where in December we're going to be singing our favorite Christmas songs, I should say, our favorite Christmas songs in front of a live virtual audience. And then also you get to be part of live Q&As, where I will set up a live Q&A session. You can ask me lots of questions about music, about teaching, okay, in general. Lots of those things going on. You can ask me those questions and I will definitely answer, or try my best to answer them with the knowledge that I have. But definitely it's a great resource, and that's what I'm looking to do, guys, to be a great resource for anybody who is trying to teach music, all of that, and just trying to do music, okay, trying to make music. I'm trying to be a great resource for that, and I just want to share, and that's why we're also here for these live videos to teach you guys these skills, okay, which can go along with a lot of different other stuff, other academics, socialization, things like that. That's all these things that I really talk about and try to hit up on. Okay, we're all just looking to learn, so use it. Like and share these videos, okay? And thank you very much for all my friends around the world. People, you guys who have been tuning in from the Philippines, from India, from Sri Lanka, from South America, from North America, Australia, Japan, China. All of you guys, thank you, my friends. I'm so overwhelmed to have so many people be joining me. Please, again, like and share and spread the word. Free music classes every week. Okay, so I've said all of that. Let's get into the hymnal. Hopefully you've got those lyrics handy. Christ Liveth in Me, once again by D.W. Whittle. Let's get right into the song and follow along as best as you can. Here we go. Focus on our Creator. Once far from God and dead in sin, no light my heart could see, but in God's word the light I found. Now Christ liveth in me. Christ liveth in me. Christ liveth in me. Oh, what a salvation this, that Christ liveth in me. As rays of light from yonder sun, the flowers of earth set free, so life and light and love came forth from Christ living in me. Christ liveth in me. Christ liveth in me. Oh, what a salvation this, that Christ liveth in me. As lives the flower within the seed, as in the cone the tree, so praise the God of truth and grace, His Spirit dwelleth in me. Christ liveth in me. Christ liveth in me. Oh, what a salvation this, that Christ liveth in me. with longing all my heart is filled, that like him I may be. As on the wondrous thought I dwell, that Christ liveth in me. Christ liveth in me. Christ liveth in me. Oh, what a salvation this, that Christ liveth in me. Christ liveth in me. Christ liveth in me. Oh, what a salvation this, that Christ liveth in me. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Give yourselves a round of applause for following along. Great job, okay? That's Christ Liveth in Me. If you want to really learn this song and get better with it, just go back to this video. It's right on the YouTube channel, Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy YouTube channel. Go into the library of songs, library of videos that I have there, and click play and sing along with me again and again until you get this song, okay? And do that with a lot of the other hymnals, okay? Again, it's just a great way of adding to your repertoire of songs, and most importantly, getting your focus right on who allows us to be able to breathe the fresh air and be able to do this, okay? But let's get into the core of our lesson, shall we? Let's get right to it. Minor scales. So I'm going to focus my camera over to the whiteboard. I'm going to stand up, get everything into focus, and I see that my my microphone is kind of blocking that a little bit. I'll fix that. All right, so here we go. Let's have the your music sheet paper, your manuscript paper, and pencils ready. Let's have those handy. I'm gonna take a lot of notes. Okay, we should start by writing what's on the board already. I'm gonna focus this a little bit better as well. Okay. All right, here we go. So get ready. This is the minor scale that we're talking about. Last week we talked about the major scale. All right, and I'm using the C minor scale. Let me write that in actually. Okay, C minor scale. Okay. And I'm using the treble clef staff. Okay, remember this is the treble clef. So just as a quick review, the treble clef is the high range of notes. Okay, and we're starting with the C minor scale, starting on middle C. Okay, remember middle C is the only note just underneath the treble clef with the ledger line, that imaginary line that runs right underneath, and that ledger line is right through the note head. We're using whole notes. Okay, which is just the circles. We're using whole notes just to emphasize what those notes are. Not really worried about rhythm, or note value or anything like that. We're just using these whole notes as an example. So use a whole notes when writing this scale. Now, if you recall last week, our major scale kind of formula to make sure that we have the right actual notes, okay, the right letter name notes. We use a formula to go in step motion. And all of these notes are still in step motion, okay, but what steps? So notice I have brackets from one note to the other, and we talk about a whole W symbolizing the whole step, and the H symbolizing the half step, okay? That there's a half step in between particular notes or a whole step, depending on where you're going with that scale, okay? So the major scale uses a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, and then lastly a half a step. Okay, which this is where we get our singing scale when we do solfege, when we go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, but the minor scale now is different. The minor scale actually takes two particular notes. One on mi, the mi note, turning it into a may note, okay? And so, by the way, so this is pronounced me, not me as in English, but this is pronounced may, okay? As if, M-A-Y. This particular third note, this is the third note in the scale, which is the E flat, Okay, in a C major scale, E wouldn't be flat. E would be just a regular E natural. It would just be a regular E natural note. Okay, so what am I talking about exactly? The major scale sounds like this: do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, that's how the major scale sounds. But in the minor scale, it actually turns the third note, which is the E, into an E flat, which is just a half a step lower than its regular. And then it turns the B, this is the B note, into a B flat. Here's B, this is B flat. So it's a half a step lower, okay? So altogether, ultimately, instead of the regular major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, it sounds more like this now. Do, re, me. Again, me, E stands for May. Fa, sol, la, te. And let me write that in the Te, standing for te. Put that in parentheses, a little arrow there. Okay, so right there, that's a te, and then goes right up to your high do. Do. So let me play all of that in consecutiveness. It's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do. So it sounds a lot different. You all see how that works? It sounds very different from there. Again, major scale would be do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Whereas the minor scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do. So it sounds different. And one would even go to say that the minor scale would have, just to put a distinct feeling to the sound, to what we're listening to. One would even say that the minor scale sounds in a way sad. Okay, this is what I talk about with some of my elementary students when we talk about which way, how does it sound. Major scale sounds happy, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, whereas the minor scale sounds sad in a way. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, so now it has a different sound to it, and you can add an emotion to it. Okay, especially if you're teaching this to the younger children. If you're teaching the difference in scales, they can really put a label to it, an emotion to it. And so that's just the way. It doesn't matter what age you are. This is just our way of kind of labeling, the different sound. One can go with, okay, yeah, it does sound differently. And some people can just be like, oh yeah, well, why does it sound differently? Because the major scale sounds kind of happy in a way, as opposed to the minor scale sounding solemn or sad in a way. Okay, and it's a great way to look. I mean, these scales, again, let me just reiterate an idea that these scales are a way of showing us how we can place a melody, how we can build a melody. All right, and as we went over key signatures in the previous videos with sharps and flats, okay, we got to learn what notes are in a particular key, so that we know the rules. Like when a particular note is featured, we know that note is either going to be a sharp or a flat, depending on the scale, on the key signature that it's in, the scale that it's in. Okay, so this kind of adds to it a little bit more. Major scales, minor scales, pentatonic scales, okay, Lydian scale. There are all these different scales, all these different type of scales that show us how a melody could go, how you can choose to go. And it allows us the freedom to be able to do that, okay? A lot of times, let's put it this way, I love it when students of music or people in music, they usually just hear what sounds good to them, okay? They usually hear what sounds good to them, and then they put it in a melody of a song. They write it down, they practice it, and they make a song out of it, okay? This is just another way for us to make sense. Okay, some people can't just do it by hearing. Some people need to make sense and make categories and group certain melodies together in a way. By using these scales, we get to do that, sort of organize it in a way, so that we also can see, oh, I know how this composer came up with this particular melody for this song. I know why, because they used a minor scale there. or they use part of the minor. They may not use the entire minor scale, not in this step motion. There's in a melody, you'll see, you'll go from do to may, right? Do to may, or C to E flat, or sometimes from E flat. You might start off from E flat to B flat. There might be a lot of skips. It won't necessarily follow this order, but this minor scale, along with the other scales, will definitely guide you into building your melody. So once you have a particular scale in mind, right, it allows you to then build your melody however you want to do skips, going up, going down, ascending, descending on the staff, whatever you want. This helps us to organize our thoughts when it comes to, purposely building a particular melody. The scales are a great way to do that. And you could do that with any key signature as well. If you start in D flat, here we go. If I start in D flat as opposed to the key of C minor, now I want to do D flat minor. Here's my D flat. Okay, C was over here. D flat is now here. So now we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do. See? As opposed to where in the key of C we were do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do. See, there's a difference in the root note, okay? I told you that the root note that we were doing was C minor. That's our C, right? That's our do. But now our do changes into D flat. Do, and then it changes the scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do. Okay? And so it takes it from there. Ultimately, again, let's put it this way. Yes, we're writing a lot of stuff, okay? We're learning to write it, but we're also combining it. And this is why I play it for you guys on the piano. It's to combine what we hear to what's on paper, all right? The majority of music or success in writing music, playing music, has to do with this. Has to do with listening to it. Okay, so yeah, I tend to digress a little bit, okay? But I feel that I need to say these things so that you guys understand where I'm coming from. It's not just about the writing, and it's not just about the hearing. It's finding a way to combine both, all right? Hearing, putting it down on paper, all right? So look at the note, look at the formula. Now I want you to look at the format, or I should say the formula that I have. Remember major scale, we did major scale. I'll write it up here just as a reminder. Major scale formula, write this down, says, I'll write it in black. Our major scale formula is supposed to be, I'm just closing it off here. Whole, half, whole step, half step. Okay? Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. That is our formula for building a major scale. Okay? But over here I have different now. Now, because ultimately, let's put it this way, because I've put the third note and the seventh note. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, third note, 5, 6. Sorry, excuse me. 3, 4, 5, 6, seventh note. The seventh note in the scale, I brought it down a half step as well. Okay, I brought it down a half step from the regular formula. So now we have whole step, half step. Instead of the second note from the first note to the second note being a whole step, okay, we made it a half a step instead. So it's now whole step, half step, whole step, half step, and then another whole step to finish it off. Okay, so write this down. Make sure you have these brackets in between those particular notes. Okay, so we start off with the C. This is our C minor scale. We start off with a C. Okay. And we're from the C to a D. From the C to the D, we have a whole step. From D to E flat, we have a half a step. Okay, make sure you have this, H being half step. All right, so D to E flat, half a step. From E flat to F, now we are back to having a whole step. Okay, it's a whole step away. From F to G, another whole step away. From G to A, another whole step away, okay? But then from A to B flat, let's hear how that sounds, by the way. Here's A, here's B flat. Okay, A, B flat. Notice that difference in that flat sound. Okay, so from A to B flat has to be a half step in the minor scale. Okay, but then from B flat to C, from B flat to C, a B flat C. Okay, from there, that's actually, notice the difference in that step motion, in that length. Okay, from this note flat, or from te, no, it's a whole step. Let's actually work our way back over here. So from C to D, let's go back to the beginning. From C to D is a whole step. Okay. Do, re, si, D. Okay. But then from re to me, okay, normally in a major scale it would be re to mi. So in the major scale it would be re, re, mi. But in minor scale, re to me, or D to E flat, re, mi. You hear that half step motion going on? So instead of you have okay. It's definitely cut the distance in half between those two notes. That's what makes all the difference. Okay. And just so you know too, in that minor scale, let's also put it this way: the third note has to be the most significant. Okay, especially when it comes to a lot of the other scales. Okay, think on this: the third note. This is key. Third note in the scale is going to play the most important part, okay, of the scale itself. So keep that in the thought process, okay? That third note, the third note is the very key, the very essence of what makes the scale. And there are other scales like the diminished scale, augmented scale. There are other scales out there, okay? That third note, you can even asterisk that in your notes. The third note is what makes the difference in all of the scales, okay? Always the third note. But then, of course, there's the significant difference between A and B flat, okay, which is supposed to be from A to B flat at half a step, okay? So from A to B flat, you have a half a step going. Here's A, here's B flat. There's that half step motion. Normally in a major scale, it would be from A to B, not A to B flat. It would be la, ti, right? But in this case, la, A is la. In the minor scale, B flat is te. La, ti. Okay? See the difference? You have major scale from la to ti. Minor scale, la to te. Okay? And that also gives it even more so why this is the minor scale, because of the third and the seventh. But the third is always the first. The third is always the first change when that sets it apart from just the major scale. The third always makes the big difference in identifying those scales, okay? If you don't understand all of this, everything that I talked about, yeah, just rewind it, listen, okay? I try to repeat a lot of these concepts, so that you guys can get it. But yeah, you can definitely always go back into the video, click play, go back into what I said and just get what I'm saying, and just try to understand what I'm saying. The third makes that significant difference in sound, okay? And in this case, the minor scale, it's always the third first, and then the seventh adds to it so that you have that sad sound, okay? Again, make sure you have this, the formula in as far as distance between each note in that ascending scale, going up, all right? You want to have this in mind. From C to D is a whole step, then D to E flat, half a step, then E flat to F, whole step, F to G, whole step, G to A, whole step, A to B flat, half step, right? And then B flat to C, whole step, whole, half, whole, half, whole, as opposed to the major scale, which is again whole, half, whole, half. Okay, that is the minor scale, and you can again apply it to any note. If it's in the key of A, it's in the key of A. Here's my A. That's the first note. That's do. Okay. Here's how that scale would go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te. Sorry, la, te. I just messed that up. La, la, yeah, no, that was right. La, te, do, te, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay, and that right there is the key of A, or I should say A minor. That would be the key of A minor. All right, A minor scale. Okay, here's the C minor scale. Again, no matter what note you start off, have this formula: whole, half, whole, half, whole. That's the set motion there. Going ascending up into the staff. All right. Make sure you have all of this. Again, if you don't have it all written down, please make sure you have it written down. Go back into the video once again. You have time. It'll always be in the library of videos that I have in Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy, which you should have subscribed to. Okay, make sure you subscribe so that you always have it there. It'll be there, and keep practicing writing these scales. Okay, take any note, do that formula to turn it into a minor scale, or this formula, I should say. Let me point at it again. The major scale formula: whole, half, whole, half. Use that formula to build your major scale, and then minor scale: whole, half, whole, half, whole. Okay, use that formula to build your minor scale. All right. Okay, guys. So very good, great job. Hopefully you got everything down. Again, use the video to practice this concept. All right, to get you understanding those different scales so that you can build melodies and write your own melodies, write your own songs. All right. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. It is 4:37 now. Thank you so very much for joining me. Thank you. Good job on writing all this stuff down and paying attention. Make sure, again, subscribe to this YouTube channel, like and share the videos, click the notifications button, and check out patreon.com/Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy for information on becoming a member of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy. Okay. Am I missing anything? What? Oh yes. Thank you. So my director of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy just politely reminded me about our Black Friday sale. Check out Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy Facebook page where there's information about a Black Friday sale where I have these extended courses in learning to teach music in your homeschool music curriculum, and I have half prices off. So check out that ad. Okay, check out that information. Go on to Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy.com to go right into that. But check out on the Facebook page. You should see it right there, and just click the link, and you'll be able to go right into learning about the different courses that I have, half prices off on each kind of course. You don't want to miss that. Okay, this is our Black Friday sale, so make sure this is for you homeschooling parents and also would-be private teachers. There's a lot of chock full of information regarding how to add music into your homeschool curriculum, or just be able to teach private lessons. I have lots of information on doing that through these video courses. So really check it out, because this is going to really help you out very much so. And that's it. That's all I can say, guys. Thank you so very much for joining us once again. All of my friends around the world, thank you very much. And as always, I wish all of my students happy practicing. Everyone, take care. Have a great day.